do not mutilate, spindle, or bend.
Do you favor the government intervention in those areas where, for example, the bar associations and the eyeglass industry were not allowing their members to advertise? And then the Federal Trade Commission stepped in, and now consumers have the ability to make those kinds of comparisons.
You're getting into another area, but the answer, the brief answer, because we oughtn't to discuss it here, I am against those governmental measures which have enabled the organizations to have the power to prevent advertising,
but
namely
there were
licensure.
no government.
Now,
that wasn't.
Now, look, I want to come back. Bob Crandall said that in an area like the Interstate Commerce Commission, there is nothing really to be said in defense at all. Does anybody dissent from that, or have we knocked them down flat?
That happens to be the one area on which, so far as I know, you cannot find any dissent anywhere. Even one of the most effective presentations of what was wrong with ICC was done by one of Ralph Nader's groups. Maybe you were associated with that group. That's the thing that really baffles me. Fundamentally, here are people like Ralph Nader and his groups who look at ICC. And what is their solution to the problem? More of the same. A different kind of regulation.
No.
The only problem is that the wrong people were in there regulating.
No, that's not true at all. No, that's a complete
You work with Nader now.
Yes.
That's Dr. Landau's solution for the medical problem. Let's have the right people doing the regulation.
No, that's a complete misnomer about the difference between ICC and health and safety regulation. There are a number of differences. One involves the economics and the benefits of profits to industry, and the other involves the sanctity of life among people.
Excuse me.
Now, let me finish this point.
Okay.
No, yes.
The second one, and it deals with your third-party relationship, is that what you're talking about there is breaks because they're going to affect somebody else, but there are also other third-party effects. For example, if you don't have a helmet used by someone and you hit them with your motorcycle, you're going to have huge damage payments to make because they didn't properly take precautions on the public highways. And the question is, should the public highways be used so that they're going to harm somebody else potentially?
There is nothing that two people do in a world. No man is an island to himself. Everything has third-party issues, but you've got to have a sense of proportion. And the important thing is that government intervention has third-party issues. When government intervenes into these affairs, that harms third parties. It picks my pocket. It reduces my freedom. It restricts many activities around the world.
What are the benefits? And if the benefits in the auto field, for example, are 55,000 deaths saved...
That's a very dubious statistic because, once again, every study has looked at the benefits and not looked at the costs.
Oh, no, that's not true at all. Absolutely not that they haven't
looked at
the
costs in life. You haven't looked at the fact, for example, that
clarify this, Milton. I don't quite follow you. Would you explain what you mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
Look, take the automobiles. By making automobiles much more expensive, it makes it more profitable to keep older automobiles on the road. The increased age of the automobile is an anti-safety factor. By making automobiles safer so people can drive them, people drive them faster or more recklessly than they otherwise would. There are more pedestrian deaths.
That's a totally unproven and indeed fully rebutted theory. And in fact, all the savings in lives that... well, no, there are numerous studies, including from Yale and Cooper from Yale and so on. But the key issue has been shown by the regulation that's been in the last 10 years. You've had a huge saving in life, a decrease in the vehicle deaths that have occurred, the rate of vehicle deaths occurred, and so on.
Let me go back again for a moment. You see, the major effect on the saving of life has been from 55-mile-an-hour speed
no, that's
limit,
not true.
which is not, after all, in there.
But that is also a regulation.
That's primarily as a fuel regulation.
Yeah, that's right. It's a regulation. But your statement's not accurate. The savings in life have not been primarily, they've been very important from 55, but there've been 55,000 deaths saved by vehicle crash safety regulation.
Excuse me. There have been 55,000 deaths that you have estimated to have been saved by.
Not me, the General Accounting Office.
Excuse me, other estimates as well. The estimate by Professor Sam Peltzman of this university, a very, very serious study, estimated that there were no lives saved if you took into account all of the indirect effects. Now, maybe his study isn't exactly right.
I don't think it is.
I'm not going to try but maybe the other study isn't exactly right either. We've got to be even.
Somewhere in between.
You look at...
Consumers have done well if it's even in between.
No, I beg your pardon. If people voluntarily want to risk their lives, are you saying, again, you really would not be in favor of prohibiting hang gliding?
We as the auto industry...
That's far more dangerous. Should you prohibit 500 miles?
I think that let me answer that. We as the auto industry, if they would remove all of the safety standards that have been in effect since 1968, and what would be the savings to the public if they did that? And the answer that they came back with, well, we couldn't remove those. They expect them now. The laminated windshields that don't crack their head open, and the collapsible steering assemblies, and the padded dashboards. While the public, that is now the societal norm. Regulation has changed the thinking of the public and the understanding of what's possible. And so, you know, what you're suggesting is that government regulation is willy-nilly and it produces things the public doesn't want.
But excuse me for a moment. You can't take credit for everything that's happened in this area. Four-wheel brakes were introduced before there were safety regulations. Many of these developments would have occurred
there
without
for this
any,
week. I hope you'll join us again for the next episode in a week's time.
Whether you're a doctor or a gas attendant, a factory worker or a bureaucrat, next week's program is all about you. Milton Friedman looks at the labor market to discover how workers can best protect themselves in the toughest job markets. If you've ever had to go out and earn your own living, don't miss Free to Choose next week.